Hi friends, in previous video we already discussed about covalent bond. In this video I am going to explain ionic bond. Ionic bond also known as electrovalent bond. Ionic bond means formed by transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. Covalent bond means sharing of electrons. Ionic bond means transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. So, this bond generates two oppositely charged ions. In covalent bond, there is no charge separation, but in polar covalent bond having charge separation, and non-polar bond no charge separation. But in ionic bond, this ionic bond generates two oppositely charged ions when transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. When transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom, at that time the two atoms attain oppositely charged ions. One atom attains positive charge and another atom attains negative charge. So like that, ionic bond is formed by transfer of electrons. Covalent bond formed by sharing of electrons. Then when one atom loses electrons and another atom accepts electrons, this atom loses electrons known as metal, and which the metal accepts electrons known as non-metal. See, so metal loses electrons to become positively charged cation, whereas non-metal accepts electrons to become negatively charged anion. The element which loses electrons attain positive charge, and the element which accepts electrons attain negative charge, and the element which loses electrons known as metal, and the element which accepts electrons known as non-metal. So the electrons transfer between metal and non-metal in ionic bond, but in covalent bond transfer of electrons between non-metals, but in ionic bond transfer of electrons between metal and non-metal. So ionic bond formed by transfer of electrons, and in covalent bond that bond is formed by sharing of electrons. Next, this type of attraction is electrostatic forces of attraction between the ions. Electrostatic forces of attraction between the ions, and ionic bond also known as electrovalent bond. But in covalent bond, which type of attraction? Intermolecular attraction is present. In ionic bond, electrostatic forces of attraction is present. So ionic bond formed by transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. Covalent bond formed by sharing of electrons. This bond generates two oppositely charged ions. The element which loses electrons known as metal, and which accepts electrons known as non-metal, and the loses element attain positive charge, and the element which accepts electrons attain negatively charged ion. So metal loses electrons to become positively charged cation, whereas non-metal accepts electrons to become a negatively charged anion. This type of attraction is electrostatic forces of attraction between the ions. But in covalent bond, intermolecular forces of attraction is present. Ionic bond also known as electrovalent bond. Next, some examples for ionic bond. Sodium chloride. We take sodium chloride. Sodium electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1 means 2, 8, 1. Chlorine 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5, 17 electron, 2, 8, 7. So in outermost shell, here sodium having 1 electron. In chlorine having outermost electrons 7. The stable configuration sodium and chlorine attain stable configuration like noble gases. Means sodium loses 1 electrons means get stable configuration like 8, and chlorine attain 1 electron means the chlorine attain 8 electrons. 8 electron means stable configuration. So chlorine wants 1 electron and sodium wants to lose 1 electron to become stable configuration. So sodium gives 1 electron to the chlorine. After transfer of electrons from sodium to chlorine, sodium attains stable configuration like 2, 8. After transfer of electrons from sodium to chlorine, chlorine attains electronic configuration 2, 8, 8. Before saying that, before we already discussed the element which loses electrons known as metal, and the element which accepts electron known as non-metal, and non-metal, the metal which loses electrons attain positively charged cation, and the element which accepts electrons known as attain negatively charged anion. So sodium attains positively charged cation and chlorine attains negatively charged anion by accepting electrons from sodium. So ionic bond is formed by transfer of electrons. Here in sodium chloride, sodium having one electron to attain stable configuration. That's why to obtain stable configuration, electrons transfer from sodium to chlorine, because sodium chlorine wants 1 electron to attain stable configuration. That's why sodium transfer 1 electron to the chlorine. Next, like that. See, sodium chloride, sodium attains positively charged cation and chlorine attains negatively charged anion. In sodium 1 electron transferred to chlorine. After transferring of electrons from sodium to chloride, sodium attains 2, 8 stable configuration and chlorine attains 2, 8, 8 configuration. 2, 8 configuration. After transfer of electrons, chlorine attains 2, 8, 8 electrons. Here 1 electron transferred to chlorine. After transferring of 1 electron, this 7 becomes 8 to attain stable configuration. Next, lithium fluoride. In lithium, electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s1. Lithium wants, if two are having noble gases are having duplet or octet structure. Here lithium loses 1 electron means lithium attains duplet structure. It is stable configuration like noble gases. And here 2, 1, 2, 7 for fluorine. By losing 1 electron, lithium attains stable configuration like duplet structure. Then transfer of 1 electron from lithium to fluorine, fluorine attains stable configuration like noble gases. So after transferring of electrons from lithium to fluorine, the configuration of lithium is 2 and fluorine is 2, 8. For the element which loses electrons attains positively charged cation. The element which accepts electrons attain negatively charged anion. And the lithium is metal and fluorine is non-metal. Ionic bond is formed between metal and non-metal, and covalent bond formed between both non-metals. Okay. Next example, sodium fluorine. Sodium having 1 electron. Here the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 1. By losing 1 electron, sodium attains stable configuration 2, 8. 2, 8. Here fluorine having 2, 7. Fluorine wants 1 electrons to attain stable configuration like noble gases. So the electron transfer from sodium to fluorine attains stable configuration like 2, 8. And fluorine attains 2,8 configuration and sodium also attain 2,8 configuration. Here one electron transferred to the fluorine. So transfer of the element which loses electrons attains positively charged and the element which accepts electrons attain negatively charged, and sodium is metal and fluorine is non-metal. So this like this the ionic bond is formed. Ionic bond formed by transfer of electrons. Covalent bond formed by sharing of electrons from one atom to and transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. Here ionic bond is formed by electrostatic forces of attraction. Covalent bond formed by intermolecular forces of attraction. Ionic bond also known as electrovalent bond. So this is the explanation to ionic bond. I hope you understand. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.